Most of us think if we're ever going to fall, we'll see it coming. We think it'll be loud, obvious, something breaks. But what if that's not how it happens? What if you don't fall apart? What if you just drift?
Welcome to Pastors in Recovery, a podcast dedicated to ministry leaders and pastors navigating the challenges of their own hurts, hang-ups, and habits. Hosted by John Hammond, a grateful believer in Jesus Christ and a pastor on the road of recovery. This space is here to remind you that God's grace is bigger than any struggle. Each episode brings real stories of redemption, practical tools for healing, and encouragement rooted in Christ's promise of renewal. You don't have to walk this journey alone. Let's explore how God meets us in our brokenness and brings light to our darkest moments. Welcome to the conversation.
You didn't wake up one day and decide to walk away from God. You just got busy. Sermons, people, counseling, crisis, and somewhere along the way, your time with God stopped being with God and started being for your next message. Hebrews 2:1, therefore we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip. You don't throw a frog in the boiling water, it jumps out. You put it in cold water and slowly turn up the heat, and it adjusts until it's too late. That's how drift works. You know, this doesn't just happen to one kind of pastor. It happens to all of us. Young pastors, passion but overwhelmed by culture. Millennials, family plus ministry tension. Gen X, pressure, expectations, fatigue. Older pastors, tired, worn, wondering what's next. Different stages, same vulnerability. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about seeking whom he may devour. You know, it's like driving down a long, straight interstate. Nothing dramatic. Everything feels fine. You're going about 75 miles an hour. But the moment you take your eyes off the road, you're in the ditch before you even realize it. And the faster you're going, the faster you fall. Let your eyes look right on. Don't turn to the right hand or to the left. Remove your foot from evil. Proverbs 4:25-27. Remember King David? It was the time when kings went to war. But what did David do? He stayed home. He wasn't where he was supposed to be. And in that space, he started looking. And it came to pass, 2 Samuel 11:2 says, that David arose and saw a woman washing herself. It didn't start with sin. It started with drift. Modern drift. That phone in your hand. We don't stand on rooftops anymore. We sit on couches. Phone in hand. Scrolling. Reels, shorts, TikTok. And something catches your eye. Years ago, you had to go looking for it. Now, it comes looking for you. Psalm 101:3, I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. So then we get that numbing effect, you know? It doesn't feel like sin at first, right? It feels like rest. Just give me a break. I need a break. I deserve it. You're tired. You've poured out all day. So you just check out. And the truth, but it's not just numbing your stress. It's numbing your heart. Hebrews 3:13, any one of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. So the lie is, what is the lie? The lie says, I'm okay because I'm still functioning. But functioning is not the same as being close to Jesus. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee because thou hast left thy first love, Revelation 2:4. And maybe you've seen it. A pastor who used to be on fire, now burned out, disconnected, gone. It didn't happen overnight. It happened slowly. Galatians 6:9, and let us not be weary in well-doing. I've lived this, not falling apart, just slowly, not paying attention. But the good news is, drift doesn't mean you're done. You don't fix drift with a big decision. You fix it by coming back, one small step at a time. James 4:8, draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. So sit with God, not as a pastor, as a man, a guy who needs Jesus. You didn't fall, but maybe you've drifted. And today, you know you can come back. Feel it burning. Midnight glow on a glowing screen. Another reel, know what I mean. Just a minute turns into more. Didn't feel it when I closed that door. Engine running hard on mute. Truth gets lost in the substitute. Used to burn, now I just scroll. Little by little, losing soul. I didn't crash, I didn't run. Just lost sight of the rising sun. I'm drifting mile by mile. Didn't see it all the while. Eyes off you just for a moment. Now I'm further than I wanted. I'm drifting, can't you see? This road's pulling me from me. But I hear you calling through it. Turn me back before for the fall, just needed rest, that's all. But the quiet turned to noise, and I traded truth for toys. Used to kneel, now I perform. Preach the fire, feel the storm. Words are strong, but heart is thin. Preaching truth I'm not living in. Didn't break, didn't burn, just stop making that return. I'm drifting mile by mile. Didn't see it all the while. Eyes off you just for a moment. Now I'm further than I wanted. Oh. I hear your voice in the silence. Make the choice, not too far, not too late. You were there the whole way. I was drifting, now I see. You were reaching out for me. Every mile, every turning. You were there and always burning. I was drifting, but I'm found. Grace came racing down the ground. Eyes back on you, I'm returning. Feel that fire, feel it burning. Feel it burning. As we close today, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen and for being part of this community. If this episode encouraged you, helped you, or made you feel less alone, I want to invite you to subscribe and leave a comment. That small step really does help this podcast reach other pastors who need it. If you'd like to support Pastors in Recovery, you can give using the link in the podcast description. Just $2 a month makes a real difference in the lives of other pastors who are walking through recovery and need encouragement. You can also listen to music created specifically for this podcast by searching for Crashing Lyrics on Spotify, Apple Music, or other music platforms. All episodes of Pastors in Recovery are available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also visit us at pastorsinrecovery.com, where you'll find episodes, music, and additional resources. We do this podcast for one reason: to remind pastors they are not alone, that healing is possible, and that God is still at work, even in recovery. Thanks for listening, and remember, recovery is possible.